This is task 1C, where you are asked to create 3 buttons that will carry out 3 tasks. You're not asked for any annotation in this task because the purpose of it is just to teach you the skills of how to create buttons so that you can answer the question about the help sheet in the real coursework. You'll need the developer ribbon for this task because you'll be recording macros. I've got the developer ribbon here. Remember, if it's not showing from one of the tasks you did before, go to customize the ribbon and make sure that developer is ticked here. Now you'll need to create the 3 buttons. That's very easy because you can just create some shapes. So if you go to the insert menu and we'll select a shape, and something like this will do. And we've got 3 buttons. One is to print, one is to reset, and one is to open the data worksheet. So if I right hand click and select edit text, I can put on here print. You might want to do things like making it centered, and I can just copy and paste that for my other buttons, which will be reset and the data worksheet. So I'll just rename those. Now at the moment these are just rectangular shapes. They don't actually do anything. What we've got to do is record macros that we can then assign to these buttons. So to record the macro, we go to our developer ribbon and we click on record macro and we say what the name of the macro is. Now before we do this, we just need to make sure that we're in a state that we can start. We're asked to print the worksheet but not the buttons. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got a cell selected somewhere, it doesn't really matter where, and we'll go to record macro and I'm going to call this print worksheet and we'll click on OK. Now we've got to say first of all which part of the worksheet are we going to print. So if I highlight this, that is the part that we want printing, and then we go through the process of file, print, and the important bit here is that we select the selection. So we're not printing the whole thing. I'm just going to change my printer to a PDF writer so I don't waste any paper. If you've got that option, great, do the same thing. Click on print, wait for the computer to do its thing, and then if we don't need to do this bit where we're actually saving the PDF file because we're just assuming it's gone through the print process, and just click somewhere else on the screen, just tidies things up, gets rid of the highlighting, and now we can stop recording the macro. So that's the macro done. What we need to do now is assign it to this button. So if I right hand click on print and we assign the macro, print worksheet, OK, that's done. Test it works, click on there, it's highlighted that area, it's going to print it, going through to doing the PDF. Now the reset button says that we need to reset the start date to today's date and clear other input values. Now we need to read carefully exactly what it's asking us to do here. The real coursework might be a bit different. Reset the start date to today's date and clear other input values. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of the start date and put in something that will be today's date. So we're going to go through the process of recording the macro. So we'll just click somewhere else on the screen, record macro. We'll call this reset button. We'll click on OK. So the first thing to do is change this to today's date. So if we put in date bracket bracket, sorry, I meant to say now bracket bracket, then we get today's date. It says clear the other input values. Well, this is one of the other input values, so we'll clear that. The annual discount, first year discount, we can try doing it like this, but it doesn't actually remove the values. What we need to do is delete everything here, which is across the worksheet. So I'm going to delete those values, and now you'll see, okay, but it's all cleared here. And that's now ready for an end year to be put in, and these calculations will be calculated. I can then stop recording that macro, and I assign that to the reset button. I'm not going to show you how to do the data worksheet one in detail, but you would go through recording the macro, clicking on the data worksheet, select, say, the first cell, stop recording the macro, and then assign that to this button. Now when you've created macros, they can embed themselves within the file so that when the file is shared with others, the macros will still work. In order to do that, you need to save the file as a macro enabled file. Otherwise, the macros will not save with the spreadsheet. So instead of just doing a file save, go to File Save As, and then select Answer Files or wherever you've decided to put your files. This is the important bit here, that you save as type to our macro enabled workbook. Okay, and then you can save that as whatever file you want. I'm not going to save it because I've already got one saved there.